determined to look at some factors. Now, a quick review about factors. If you think about what factors are the things that you multiply together to get your answer, your product. And so what we can do is we can basically use divisibility rules to work backwards from our product, if you will, down to its factors. All right, so if we were to take a look here, I've got them on your page here so you are reminded of them. You also should have come up with them, but here's a good list of them. Okay, if we take a look here, let's determine the factors of 24. And we're going to determine them only using divisibility rules, if at all possible. So, first of all, we have to look at it and see, okay, well, it's even. That tells us that one of the factors is 2. So then we can say, okay, well, 2 times 12 equals 24, because 2 times something has to, so we divide 24 by 2, gives us 12. All right, next one we can look for is 3, so we add up the digits, 2 plus 4, oh, that's 6. 6 is divisible by 3, which means 3 times something is 24. And this, if we look at this, we go 3 times, oh, it's 3 times 8. This is kind of one of our basic math facts, but if it was a really big number, we could always say, okay, big number divided by 3 to determine the factor. Good, 3 times 8 is 24. All right, we can also look at it and say, well, if I divide by 2, and then I divide by 2 again, I still have a whole number. What that tells me, it is divisible by 4. So 4 times 6 equals 24. That's our other factor, set of factors. Now what we can see if we look up here, right, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh, we could have also said in terms of 6, it's divisible by 2 and 3, which means it's also divisible by 6. We've really determined all the factors of 24 at this point. All right, so let's move on and look at the factors of 32. So first thing to look at, it's even. Hey, guess what? 2 is one of the factors of 32. Again, if we're not quite sure, 2, so 32 divided by 2 gives us 16. So 2 times 16 is 32. There's 2 of our factors. We start looking. 3. Well, 3 plus 2 is 5. Is 5 divisible by 3? No, it's not. So 3 is not a factor. All right, well, I divided by 2. I got 16. Well, that's an even number. Hey, I can divide by 4. Alright, 4 times something's got to give me 32. So if I'm not sure, I could always say, okay, 32 divided by 4, oh, that's 8. I should know that as one of my basic math facts as well. 4 times 8 is 32. Is it divisible by 5? No. How did I know this wasn't divisible by 5 up here for 24? Again, it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. It's not divisible by 3, so it cannot be divisible by 6. Got 8. It doesn't end with a 0, so it's not divisible by 10. This is our list of factors. Now, if we move down our page here just a little bit, we need to know what are the common factors of 24 and 32. So if we were to make a Venn diagram like this, all right, and start putting in, so over on this side we're going to have the factors of 24, on this side the factors of 32, and then in this overlapping spot would be factors that are the same. So 24, 3 is a factor of 24. It's not a factor of 32. But guess what? 2 is a factor of both of them. 4 is a factor of both of them. 8 is a factor of both of them. What about 16? Oh no, that only goes in this side. Alright, what about 12? That only goes on this side. Alright, so what about 6? No, that only goes on this side. Alright, is there anything else? Well, we could double check here, right? 2 times 16, 2 times 12 is, sorry, 2 times 16 is 32. 2 times 12 is 24. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. Yeah, we got them all. All right, at this point, we have all the common factors would be 2, 4, and 8. And greatest common factor is this one right here, is 8. All right, moving on then. Right. So then, let's do the same thing for 30 and 18. So same thing, we're going to use divisibility rules to find the factors of 30, then we'll find the factors of 18, and then we'll find the common factors of both. So let's start with 30. Common factors of 30. So, or all the factors of 30, sorry. First things first, it is even, right? 2 times something, in this case it's going to be 15 equals 30. How did I figure out the 15? Again, 30 divided by 2 is equal to 15, which means that 2 times 15 equals 30. So some of my factors of 30 are 2 and 15. All right. 30 divided by 2, oh, sorry, let's not jump ahead. 3 plus 0 is 3. Hey, that means it is divisible by 3, so one of the factors is 3. 3 times something equals 30. Oh, 30 divided by 3 is 10. 3 times 10 equals 30. 30, oh, it ends in a 0. That means it's divisible by 5, which means 5 times 6, oops, equals 30. Okay, lovely. Now, I know that I'm done at this point, because if you look here, 2, 3, 5, 6, is there anything between 5 and 6 that's a whole number? And that answer hopefully is no. I could also include, I guess, 1 and 30. I should do those as well. Okay, so we should include those, because there's going to be times when the greatest common factor is 1. We'll get to why that's important later on, but that's going to be something we should always include, even though that's sort of a really straightforward one. Okay, let's try for 18 now. Alright, so again, our really obvious one is 1 times 18 is 18. Alright, so we can look at that and say, oh wait, look, it's even. 2 times something. So again, this one we should know. 2 times what is the something? Well, 2 times 9 has to equal 18. Lovely. Let's see here. 1 plus 8, that's 9. Can we divide that by 3? It is. Yes, we can divide that by 3. Okay, so 3 times something, and again, 18 divided by 3. Oh, that's 6. Again, this should be one that we do already know, but if we have to, we can. There we go. 3 times 6 is 18. What about 4? Well, divisibility rules say that if it's divisible by 4, I have to be able to take these digits and divide them by 2 times. In this case, that doesn't work. Right? I can divide 18 by 2. That gives me 9, but 9 is not an even number. When I divide that by 2, I do not get a whole number. So we're done. We're done here. We're done here. Find the common factors of both. Sort them using a Venn diagram. Okay, well, let's do that. Alright. So here's for 30. Okay, a common factor is going to be 1. A common factor will be 2. Common factor will be 3. Common factor, let's see, there's no 4. 5 is only over here. Oh, 6. That's in both of them. Alright. 10 is only over here. Oh, 9. Missed that one. That's only over here. There. I guess 30 is only over here. 18 is only over here. I think we've got them all. And again, we could check. 1 times 30, 2 times, oh, we missed one here. 15 has to go over here. That's only a factor of 30. So 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6. Yeah, we got all the 30s. Okay, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and 3 times 6. So we found all the common factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. What is the greatest common factor? That's going to be 6. Now, the reason why we're going to do this, we're going to come to in just a little bit. One of the main reasons where we're going to use greatest common factor stuff is when we deal with fractions. But before we get to fractions, pause the video and you've got a little baby assignment to work on. Okay, so get at that. And then once you pause the video, we'll come back to the second sheet. So at this point, you should have done your greatest common factor sheet and the little assignment to go with that. Now, this is kind of the reason why we're talking about divisibility rules. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on them. There's been 2 assignments already. It must be important stuff. And the important reason we do them is dealing with fractions. All right, and so if I want to figure out (12/42), what is that in lowest terms? Well, one of the things I should be doing is using my divisibility rules. All right? So I can use divisibility rules to find common factors. All right? So let's find some common factors. And we're in fact going to do the same thing that we did just a few minutes ago in the video and a little bit longer ago in your assignments. We're going to find factors of 12 using divisibility rules. Oh, we got 1 times 12. Okay, lovely. We have, 12 is even, so 2 times 6. 1 plus 2, oh, that's 3. That means 3 is one of the factors. 3 times what? Oh, 3 times 4 equals 12. So there's my 6 factors of 12. Lovely. Let's look at 42. 42. Well, we've got 1 times 42. It's the obvious one. That's fine. 42 is even. That means I can divide it by 2. So 2 times something. And if I'm not sure, 42 divided by 2. Oh, 21. All right. 42. 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Hey, that's divisible by 3. That means 3 times something is going to give me 42. All right, so let's take a quick peek here. 3 times something. So 42 divided by 3, that's one you might not know off the top of your head, but your calculator could help you here. 42 divided by 3, hey, that's 14. Oh, it's divisible by 2 and 3. That means it has to be divisible by 6. Find out it's going to be 6 times 7. All right, let's look for common factors. 1. Okay, good. 1 is always going to be a common factor. That doesn't necessarily help us. Although, if that's the only common factor we have, we're already in lowest terms. 2, that's a common factor. Okay, is there anything bigger? 3. Okay, that's in both of them. 4, no, that's only here, so it's not going to be 4. There's no 5s. 6! There's a 6 in both of them. That might be our biggest one. 7's only here. 12's only here, 14, that's already too big, so 21 and 42 are also out. But, greatest common factor, we've got a 6 in both of them. So that means I can divide top and bottom of my fraction by 6. And I'm going to get an equivalent fraction because I'm doing the same thing to the top and the bottom. So 12 divided by 6, oh, that's going to be 2. 42 divided by 6, oh, that's going to be 7. Now, I'm just going to pause for a moment here. None of this is really difficult. None of this up here is really difficult, unless you really struggle with your multiplication tables. Because if you don't know that 6 times 7 is 42, you're doing a lot of extra work to get to this point. If you don't know that 3 times 4 is 12, it takes you a lot of extra work to get here. And what that means is you've put a whole lot of mental effort into doing just the step 1. Step 1 is greatest common factor. Step 2 is where we're actually solving the problem. So if you've put all kinds of energy and time into this, this takes way longer, and it's really frustrating for you. So learn your math facts. They're super important. All right, moving on. If I look here, I can double check 2 and 7. Okay, are there any common factors? Well, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 7 is 7. No other factors. Back to grade 6, these are both prime numbers. And greatest common factor is 1. We are now in lowest terms. All right, let's move on. When you only have to divide once, and you only have to divide once if you use the greatest common factor, right? Let's just pretend, okay? This is one you don't have to write down. Let's just pretend all I noticed about these is that, hey, you know what? These are both even. Okay, lovely. I can divide them by 2 if they're even. Okay, so 12 divided by 2, hey, that's 6. 42 divided by 2, hey, that's 21. Okay, these are not both even, but they are. 6, that's divisible by 3. 2 plus 1, well, that's 3. That's also divisible by 3. Hey, I can divide these by 3. 6 divided by 3, that's 2. 21 divided by 3, oh, that's 7. So, this doesn't look much like a 2. Let's make it look like a 2. There we go. I end up with the same thing, just a little bit more work. And again, if I didn't know my multiplication facts, this became really tricky or took a lot longer, used more energy. All right? So, do I always need to go through that whole greatest common factor thing? No, I can just do this. This is, especially with big numbers, this is usually what I'll do. I'll just do, okay, well, it's even. I can divide by 2. Oh, and then I look for if it's divisible by 3. Hey, it is. Perfect. Move on. And often, 2, 3, and 5 are about all you have to do. 2, 3, 5, and 10. Because obviously, if they both end in a 0, that's a real easy one, because then you can divide by 10. Just cross out the 0. All right, let's move on. Alright, so 20/24ths. Let's actually go for the greatest common factor this time, okay? Sometimes that's a bit easier. Okay, so if I can look at 20 and 24, say, okay, well, 20, we've got 1 times 20. I'm looking just for greatest common factor. This is not super useful to me to do 1 times 20, but we're going to do all of them. 2, because it's divisible by 2. Okay, so 2 times 10. Okay, pause it at this point. See if you can finish the factors for 20. Right? Really, pause it. Come on, pause it. Alright, you paused it, good. So, check your answers now. 4 times 5 is 20. Lovely. Let's look at, oh, it's supposed to be a 1 in front of the x there. Good, let's look at 24. So we got 1 times 24. Again, pause it. You try. Come on, pause it. Okay, you've paused it. Good. Check your answers now. All right. Greatest common factor is going to be my 4. It's the only one that's in, the biggest one that's in both lists. Okay, so that means if I take my 20 and over 24, and I divide that by 4. That's really a divided by sign. It's just hard to tell. And divide this one by 4. This is going to give me 20 divided by 4. That's going to be 5. Again, if I don't know my basic math facts, this is getting to be really hard. If I know them, this is super easy. 24 divided by 4, oh, that's 6. 5/6. So in this case, factors of 5 would be 1 times 5. Factors of 6, I guess, would be 1 times 6 and 2 times 3, but the greatest common factor is 1. I'm in lowest terms. Away I go. Let's move on. Okay. Write 12/18ths in lowest terms using the greatest common factor. Alright, in this case, I can look at this and tell you what the greatest common factor is, but pause it and check. I'm not going to show the work on this one. I want you to try it. Okay. Your answer in the end is going to work out to 2/3. Lovely. Alright, which takes you to your assignment with this part here. Alright, let's go. Have fun.